What is going on, guys? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe, and I am joined, of course, by Hailey. And we just got done watching the recent K.O episode. It was the first special, 30-minute special called T.K.O. And we see K.O kind of dive into his dark side, which we've gotten a little bit of hints at in the past. But we want to kind of break it down, talk about it. What does it all mean? What's going to happen? And all that good stuff. So what are your overall thoughts, Hailey, on the episode?
Well, I really liked it. I didn't think it had a big impact on the show as I thought it might be. Like, I was really comparing this to kind of like how Ocean Gem and Mirror Gem impacted C Mirrors, which is like kind of like its first two-parter, I believe. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see in the future, but it does seem like, we finally maybe are seeing a more serious villain, in the show, which is good to see because I like a little more seriousness in shows. So that's cool. Very mysterious. So we don't really have any answers to that at the moment, although we have our theories. And, it revealed some stuff this episode. Probably not as much as I was thinking it would, but, we got like stuff like Gar confessing his love. So to Carol.
Yeah, I think Carol has been aware of that the whole time.
Yes.
She didn't seem surprised or worried about it. She's always kind of acknowledged his flustered nature whenever she's around. So yeah, like you mentioned, that we get sort of a more serious villain who is known as Shadowy Figure, apparently, which obviously appears to be Professor Venomous. But yeah, I like the contrast of a more serious villain mixed with the more goofy, incompetent villain like Boxman, and I like that they know each other and that there's actual dynamic and rapport there. So it's very, very interesting, and I think actually Boxman might end up becoming more of a threat with him knowing Venomous, and they kind of seem to be getting along now that Boxman has proved his worth. So yeah, we see that K.O is training under Shadowy Figure, as we'll call him from now on, and he's unlocking his darkness. And we kind of mentioned this before, that K.O is very innocent, he's very lighthearted, he's very sweet, very positive. So there's not, we didn't really see a lot of his bent up anger and rage, but it was there locked in, literally in a cage. And I think this is more than just metaphorical. Obviously, this seems like he literally has a shadow self. We saw this shadow self in the Fear episode. I forget what that episode was called, but when they were going to
like face your fears or something.
Yeah, something very simple like that. But yeah, we saw a little bit of a hint of that. So it seems like this is something that's always been there, or it's been there for quite a while. And it seems like that's what K.O.'s fear was. That's the fear he faced when he played the game, and kind of the resentment he sort of has towards, his friends Rad, Enid, and Gar for kind of treating him like a kid and feeling like he's, not worthy, he's not strong enough, he's not moving at the pace that he wants to move. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And I definitely feel for him. So we see him unlock his darkness, and K.O.'s version of this is unlocking a new alter ego called T.K.O, Turbo K.O, and he's super emo. So I loved how the writers did that. They just made him literally Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he looks just like that, and like you said, totally emo. And there's even like some references to like very popular like sayings, and like even to MCR, I think, which I don't know too much about, but it's funny for people that do.
I didn't even notice.
And it was just what? I
didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah. I think it was Rad. He actually dressed up. I think it was one of those songs. I don't know, but I think maybe Black Parade actually.
Okay, yeah.
Dressed up, and that's all I know. But that was funny. They do references to that and stuff. But they try to cheer him up, and nothing works. And so they eventually get K.O.'s mom Carol to tell him to quit it, which doesn't work, which sucks.
Yeah, it seems like nothing really worked. Carol didn't work. Mr. Gar kind of telling not confessing his love for his mom, but him telling him that he's a valued member of the team and he appreciates the work that he does at the bodega. That didn't even really work. He said it's too late for that, and then he just kind of threw a hissy fit on the ground, and he sort of just tuckered himself out for the most part. He just kind of overloaded. So that says a lot about the power that T.K.O has. That not even Carol, because I feel like that's something that would have happened in most stories. Again, the kind of breaking the mold with this show is, I feel like Carol would have been able to break through to him in most shows, and maybe even Mr. Gar would have been able to, but none of them could. Enid couldn't, Rad couldn't. It's something that he had to deal with for himself, and obviously I don't think this is going to be over just yet.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts was definitely the internal struggle that K.O. had, and in the end he won. He was able to put T.K.O. back where he belonged, caged up in his mind. But I mean, that always brings up a possibility that he could return, which sucks.
Yeah, and that's kind of not how you should deal with your pent-up negativity, just putting it in the cage. So I feel like that's definitely going to come back to bite him. I don't think the T.K.O. plotline is over just yet, but I think there's more to T.K.O. than it just being simply K.O.'s dark side. I feel like this is something that he may have been born with, and I probably do a whole video on this actually, because I think there's a connection between K.O. and the past of Point, and it seemed like Venomous was familiar with K.O. for some reason when they met, when they got captured by Boxman. They kind of messed up the dinner. It seemed like Venomous was like, "Oh, is that?" And which is weird because K.O. his level is only 0.01. So I don't, point whatever it is.
Very small.
So I don't know why his reaction would be that, unless there's a secret to K.O.'s past and how he was even born in the first place. And I feel like that's going to come into play very soon, as Shadowy Figure said on the roof, very soon. So yeah. So what do you think is going on with T.K.O. and potentially what do you think Venomous / Shadowy Figure's overall goal is?
Well, he probably wants to be powerful, the Shadowy Figure, and he's probably going to try to use K.O. To do that for him. It's because maybe he's not strong enough, or he knows that K.O. has so much potential that he's going to use it against people. So I think he's going to probably try again to bring T.K.O. out at bad times.
Yeah, and it was very much like traditional sort of cliche, like, oh, the Dark Master, you must unlock your darkness and your anger. It was very much like Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts and all that good stuff. But I feel like it's going in a different direction, considering the show's track record with kind of breaking tropes like they actually did in this episode. I feel like there's going to be something else, some other type of layer, some other type of dynamic that we're not really familiar with. I hope he's not his dad. I feel like that'd be a very easy way to go. Of course, it depends how they do it, but I feel like that'd be a very easy outcome. But I'm really liking where this plotline's going. I hope to see more of him very soon and more of T.K.O. very soon. I'm curious to see if there are maybe even other types of transformations that K.O. can go to. Maybe that's really his true potential. His ability is to transform into these other entity or these other like egos that kind of all have their different types of powers and abilities and stuff like that. That'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think that pretty much is it for this episode. It was a really great episode. It's kind of leading us into a more overarching storyline, which is very exciting. And like you said, you were kind of expecting like an Ocean Gem, Mirror Gem thing. I think it's close to that. It doesn't necessarily shake up our whole world, but it does shake up our understanding of K.O. And it shows that there is an ever-looming threat running in the background. And it's kind of similar to how Mirror Gem, Ocean Gem kind of gave us a bigger scope of the world and the gems and what's really going on. And it made us realize that there's this whole world here and this is going to lead into something. So this is similar in that regard, for sure. Yeah. So do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, so something I really wanted to mention that, is on my mind a lot, or from this episode, probably the biggest thing is obviously you're like, this is definitely Professor Venomous, and there probably isn't questions about this because literally you saw his the little dots he has on his face from the character same, so it's probably him. But something I wanted to mention still was that in the episode I Am Dendy, when K.O. first meets Dendy, we see Professor Venomous card, and that looks like we actually don't see the numbers on it, but we know it's a negative and it doesn't look like an 8. It's probably a -7. So if that means that Shadowy Figure is -8, he got worse. So just something to think about.
Got worse how so?
Well, it went from -7 to 8.
So you're saying he got weaker?
He got more powerful.
Oh yeah, you got more power.
Villain wise, because
villain wise,
like
goes,
in this
opposite.
show, it seems like the more evil you are, it goes negative. I believe, at least in this case, that seems to be the case.
Potentially, yeah. I think it might be still strength. I don't think it's necessarily evilness.
So you think he's weak?
No, I think he got stronger. But I don't think it's literal math. So like obviously in the real world, if you get negative and it's a higher number, you're having less. But I think it's just villains. The negative is just to show that it's a villain, but the number system still works as if it were on the positive spectrum. So a -8 is the same level of power as an 8, but it's just evil. So he just has dark. He's just a villain. So yeah, I think that's basically what's going on there. So I'm curious to see what that means, because that means he got stronger from I Am Dendi to now. So that's interesting. I wonder if he gets stronger faster. And it's very interesting that 8 is considered powerful, because I feel like if 100 is a level that you can get to, because everyone was freaking out about K.O. being level 100, I feel like, first of all, where are these people? If you can even get to 100, that's pretty insane.
Well, yeah, but it's like even Rad, who's like level 2 or something like that, he is gloating about that. Like, so small levels. It's like
he's also Rad though.
Yeah, but it's insane. Like at like very small levels, they're proud of, which is okay. I mean, because like literally, Carol's like only level 11. Same with Gar. So, and those are like the most powerful figures we know, I believe, in the show, which is that's pretty crazy then.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be similar to Dragon Ball in that aspect, where the villains constantly get stronger, so the heroes constantly get stronger. So I feel like we're going to be opened up to much, much stronger heroes and villains that we weren't aware of. Maybe not even the characters we're aware of. Because if obviously 100 is a level that you can reach. So if we're going by like RPG standards, like level 12 is pretty weak. You're not even getting a Charmeleon yet at level 12. So that's like, I feel like we're going to get a greater scope of the strength of the different beings very soon. And again, that kind of goes back to Steven Universe as well.
Another thing, or at least like a lesson that I believe K.O. learned, possibly, I hope he did, is that you can't trust everyone, He made a very bad decision by trusting Shadowy Figure.
Obvious villain is obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently not for him.
Yeah.
And, so far it's worked out for K.O. for the most part, or he hasn't gotten too much trouble from just trusting people and believing they're good, inside. But that's not going to always work. And that's, a great lesson for real life, especially, So that should carry on, hopefully, to future episodes. At least I hope it does.
Yeah, and I think another lesson that he probably learned is that you can't just cheat your way into success usually, unless you're like Kim Kardashian, but you usually can't, you have to take the long road. It takes a lot of time, it takes practice, hard work, and that's something that Carol was trying to instill in him, and I think he's finally getting that. So he's finally focusing, and he's calming down, and he's being patient, and he's gonna go his own path without T.K.O. But T.K.O. obviously is going to come back, but how that happens remains to be seen. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this review/discussion of T.K.O., the first OKKO special. Like I said, I'm probably going to do a whole video on T.K.O., what he means, what his history is, and how that's all going to tie into Professor Venomous and his past and all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. If you'd like more OKKO stuff, want to hear that theory, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know when we post it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've been Michael Williams, joined by Hailey, and we will see you in the next video.